I think last time we were together, I could have checked, I know. I just had the bits of leather all cut. But let me show you what we're up to now. Since then, I've dyed the leather, put the belt loop on. I have a little piece in the front and the snap set. That's stitched onto this part. Now, when this part was stitched onto this part, okay, I punched the stitch holes through, and then on the back side I recessed them with my stitch groover. Let me get my stitch groover real quick. Kind of quick. There it is. I use this kind of a stitch groover because, well, I prefer it. And what I like about it is you can take the guide off easily and use it as a freehand stitch groover. Some people have two different groovers that they switch back and forth to do that. But this is the kind that I prefer. And recessing the stitches on the back prevent the knife from catching on the stitches when it goes in and out of the sheath, and doesn't rub against the side of the knife also when you put it in and out of the sheath. So I've already glued the welt on, and this will fit just like that, and on the outside it'll sit like that. I am going to trim these off, these little ears off. Now on the back side, I didn't bother with recessing the stitches because this piece is going to go over top of them. So they're going to be protected, and the thickness of the stitch in there, that's not going to make a difference at all. This piece will get glued to here, and basically the knife will fit in like that, and then you'll have the back piece on. But right now it fits with just a little bit of friction, and it's a good snug fit. And you can see the way the handle fits, front and rear. Well, I gotta line this up, front and rear. Right now we're going to go ahead and cut these off and start gluing this piece on. Grab my chisel real quick. To cut these off, I just use a big wood chisel, and I just lay it against it like this here. Make sure that it's perpendicular, and then just push it straight down, and it cuts off a little bit. Do the same thing to the other side. There we go. And that has that. And this piece will get glued to the back. But first, there we go. I want these two parts, these two, to be even, because that's what the knife is going to sit up against. Let's see if I got that right, because I can. On both sides. Oops. Well, you get the idea. And I want the welt to fit right between that. Okay, got my dividers, and I'm going to find the widest part on this welt and mark this part, and that's where my glue line is going to go. For glue, my usual. First though, let me get some stuff out of the way. On this part, where the leather is smooth, I'm going to take my awl and scratch it up. That gives the glue something to bite into. Now after I do that, I'm going to put the glue on this piece and inside my line on here. Give it 5 minutes or so. Line them up and stick them together. And we'll be right back. I've given the contact cement a little bit of time to tack up to where it's sticky, but it's not gooey. You can touch it and it doesn't come off on your fingers. And well, I'm going to stick these two together, but you got to be careful. Well, as long as you don't push it together, if they just touch, then you can reposition. But I'm going to start at the top actually, because I want those two sides to line up. And I'll just eyeball them in. Okay. Bring the rest together. Now I intentionally made this piece and the welt wider than the front piece so I can sand them back, because I already established my stitch line in the front piece. So that should not be a problem. And it's standing proud. The front and the back look like they line up pretty good, so I'm just going to squeeze it. I don't need to clamp this because there's no real stress on the glue line. So it should just glue itself together. It should be just fine. There shouldn't be any failure at all in the glue line. Now, I could put a piece of leather, and hit it with my mallet, and that'll help it. But for now, this is what I got. Let's see if I can do this without pulling apart. And the knife slips right down in there. Oh, that feels just right. And you can see how it fits in the back and on the front. And that back piece is going to serve as a spacer for this piece. That's going to be a nice thick edge. And if it finishes the way I want it to, it's going to look really good. And you can see how this is going to come around here. Well, let me get that out. What I was saying about using clamps is if I'm doing a joint like this one where it folds over, the leather is going to want to, let me do it with my other hand, where it folds over, the leather is going to want to pull it apart. So in a case like this one, I will use a clamp on it. But this one, everything's flat. Just mash it together. Push it down against the table. Then I just need to leave it alone for a while. I'm going to let that sit overnight. And then I'm going to come back with my stitching chisel and punch those holes in as far as they'll go. After that, this piece gets glued to this piece, and once that dries, I'm going to punch the holes on through with my stitching awl. Honestly though, before I do that, I'll probably take it out to the garage and sand that edge back. Then we can get stitching this thing together and doing some finishing work on it. And we'll see you then. My voice just went up there. See you then. We'll see you then. Bye now.